Okay, so let's analyze this thing. So this question is an odd one out, and let's figure out why fourth is an answer. Now, the option number, sentence number one says that in many cases, inconsistency is what prevents our going from intention to action, right? So basically, we can say that this is basically talking about that why people delay or avoid getting. I mean, like in case if we read all these sentences or so it talks about that why people delay or let's say getting their child immunized, right? And most of the sentences basically focus on the concept of time inconsistency, so which basically is called as a kind of a psychological phenomenon where people's preferences or intentions change over time, making it hard to follow through a planned action. So that is basically the case, right? Now let's analyze each of the sentences. Now the first sentence says that in many cases, time inconsistency is what prevents our going from intention to action. So it says that time inconsistency is a key factor, okay, in why our intentions basically fall to turn into actions, okay. So intentions ये action में नहीं लिख सकते, time inconsistency is the issue. Now for those who does not know what is a time inconsistency, so it can actually refers to, let's say, that you might plan to do something that benefit your future, okay, but when that tomorrow arrives, okay, you actually keep on postponing it again and again. So procrastination or delays despite the good intentions is known as a time inconsistency here, right? Now the sentence number two talks about for people to continuously postpone their children immunized, they who need to be constantly fooled by themselves. So this explains that maybe again we can say that for people to continuously postpone. So continuously postpone is again similar to the idea of the time inconsistency. Okay. So this explains that repeated delays require kind of a self-deception. You have to be fooled by yourself. Okay, which ties again back to the time inconsistency and the ideas of our intention to go into the action, right? Now, in this specific case of immunization, however, it is hard to believe that time inconsistency by itself would be sufficient to make people permanently postpone the decision if they were fully cognizant of its benefit, right? Now, this sentence basically says that time inconsistency alone, okay? So it is hard to believe that the time inconsistency by itself, that is means that the time consistency all by itself, right, may not fully explain the permanent postponement, okay, when people understand that the immunizations actually benefits, right? So that means that there are some other factors, okay, so that the time inconsistency is not alone, there are some other factors also. So let's analyze what the last sentence has to say. So not only do they have to think that they prefer to spend time going to the camp next month, rather than today, they also have to believe that they will indeed go next month, right? So it's kind of describing the mental process of the psychological dilemma that behind the time consistency. So they have to plan for the future, but again, doubting if the future plan will actually going to happen. So that's the case, right? And now, okay, I forgot the fourth sentence. So in most cases, even a small cost of immunization was large enough to discourage the people, right? Now, we can see here that this is altogether getting into a different tangent. It is actually giving us a different reason for avoiding immunization. And then they are saying that the even a small cost of immunization was large enough to discourage most people, right? So this actually talks about maybe the financial aspect, okay, rather than time inconsistency or the psychological angle that is being derived in the rest of the sentence. Okay, so it says that because of the immunization purpose, small cost too, but it was the cost when the money they were supposed to get the money. Okay, so the intent of that actually kind of discourage the people to go for immunization. So the sentence 4 kind of discuss cost related deterrence, which are entirely different category of the reasons from the other sentences, which actually talks about time inconsistency. Okay, so again that they will go next month. So playing with the psychological reasons for delaying immunization, right? So that's the reason that the fourth is an odd one out. I hope you got this answer.